Salima, everyone, welcome. Yeah, I forgot to schedule the stream, so I think this is me and Niki right now. I'm sure people will jump on eventually, but yeah, kind of dropped the ball this week. But that's because we have been so super busy. We kind of talked a little bit about it last week. The what do you call that? The founding of the International Sidereal Astrology Association.
Yes.
The very first of its kind anywhere in the world, at least as far as my research has shown. So we got a ton of stuff going on with that. We've been talking to a bunch of cool people. As you guys know, may or may not know, last week we had Michael Hardigan on and we talked to him a little bit about it. He's going to be coming on board. And so is Gary O'Toole. We're very excited about. I believe Krasi Atasio is also going to be joining us, and she's going to be a part of that. And a handful of other people. So we're super, super excited. I've been working hard on the website, got the members portal going. Our shop is up. I will at some point to bring it up. We have a whole 5 products ready to roll with the logo and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And we're going to get a forum going. It's going to be a whole big thing, and we're super excited. So if you guys don't know, if you want more information, definitely go to the website, siderealinternational.org. If you accidentally put .com or .net, it'll also redirect you to the .org site, and you can learn more. We are looking for volunteers, people who want to contribute something, whether you want to write articles. Some people like to do social media stuff, whatever your interests are. We sure wouldn't make anybody do something that they didn't definitely want to do, that they weren't in love with. No, you have to, manage the Facebook. No, we're not doing that. No, it's stuff that, stuff that you love.
There's some passion behind it. Yeah.
I was talking with Lily from Healing with Lily, right?
Yeah, I love her. Yes.
Yeah.
Love her accent.
We were talking about, because she's a writer, and we have a few different writers on board, but we would like to, Niki, I can't remember if we talked about. I know we talked about our quarterly journal, which is a little bit more on the scholarly side, much more intense, a regular newsletter, whatever. But I would really and we need everybody's feedback on this stuff, you guys. It's not about us and what we want. It's a community thing, and we need community input. So you guys have to tell us. You gotta get involved. All the contact information is on the website. Obviously, you can reach out to me or Niki one-on-one if you want to. We can give you the information that way too. But just to have a blog, what am I trying to say here? A free blog. Anybody who's got information about sidereal astrology, they want to post an article, kind of having a free-for-all and not have it super moderated. Obviously, we'll probably want to run it through some grammar checkers and stuff, things like that, make sure it's appropriate information. But so anybody who wants to contribute to something like that, let us know. We want you to be a part of it. We're not doing it for us. We don't need to do that.
No. No, it's about bringing the community together and finding, we all practice different ways. Some of us, even Fran, at FA Empowerment, she's a heliocentric, sidereal astrologer. So there's so many different ways that we practice. So there isn't a specific way that, anybody's going to be required to practice other than sidereal. I think it's really awesome because we just don't have it. And it's a great opportunity for everybody to come together and say, hey, this is what I feel has been missing since I began my journey with constellational astrology. I started my journey and it was kind of, I was kind of lost. I found Athen, of course, I found amazing, Facebook groups and other folks and watched what they were doing. But the feedback I've been getting from other people who are like me, students who are just starting out, still trying to grasp the concepts and pull it all together, is that it gets overwhelming. And, they have to learn tropical first, to learn the wrong way first. And then you have to learn how
to unlearn it. Yeah.
You have to unlearn it. It just such an asinine concept, it's just not really, it doesn't make sense. So our focus is to build a community where we can share our resources and share all the people who are offering, have offerings, and and build something really great and unique and not like everybody else. So that's
I don't know everybody. No offense to anyone else there who's trying to build a nonprofit, but I'm going to offend you though, but still, because all those other, not all of them, but a lot of them suck. I'm not going to name any names, but if you dig around for other astrology organizations, they kind of suck. They just don't have it together. It looks like they maybe started strong and then the leadership kind of dropped off. That's not what we're creating. We're building something that's going to last, and it's going to. So
and one thing that we noticed too with directories, like where do you find a sidereal astrologer? People are scrounging. They're just scraping you can't trust Google.
No,
for anything, like any of your information. You can even put in there, where is Neptune? Astronomy, and they'll still tell you it's in Aries. They'll still say, "Oh, well, it's in Aries." No, have you looked? I mean, not that you can see it from where you're standing or anything.
Right.
There's plenty of astronomy apps that show you it is not. It is not.
Yeah.
So anybody who does volunteer, who offers and has and does provide readings, offerings, runs a business, as a to thank you, we're going to put you in our directory. And, we want that. We want to be able to send people to a source where all of our sidereal astrologers are. So, reach out to us and let us know that you're interested in contributing. Yeah. I mean, even if it's like your 2 cents, I want to hear it. I want to know what you think.
We need feedback. We need information.
Yes.
Because again, it's not about us for sure.
No, not at all.
Along those lines, we have a tentative date for the launch event. It's October 4th, but I'm waiting to hear back from Gary O'Toole to see if he's got any input on maybe a more auspicious date. My thing is like, let's just make sure we do it during the waxing moon, and that we could make a case for that just being superstition, but but that's our tentative date. The kids are back in school. It's a Saturday. But what we'd really like to do is get all people interested in sidereal astrology that we can, including professional astrologers and just, everybody. And like, let's have a virtual conference and talk about the direction of the field and what everybody's needs are and their goals are and what they'd like to see and how we can make the organization grow and make it better.
Yeah. So, what we found is everybody's needs are different. Yeah, everybody. I mean, from the very beginner student all the way to the, continuing education astrologer, everybody's got different needs. So it's been interesting. It's been interesting talking to some folks. I've talked to
absolutely.
In all the courses, all the classes, all the stuff, read all the books, and they're still like, I don't get it. And I'm like, I totally understand you. Oh my God, I was there. I get it. So I'm excited to put something together with everybody that is comprehensive, that is well understood. And by the time our foundational people they can read a chart. That's basically my idea and my goal. But it's
read it and feel confident about it.
So
and we talked about having like regular study groups just for people, for obviously the student members and the professional members, whoever, to like jump on and practice reading charts like on a regular basis with other professionals and get everybody's input. And I don't think anything like that exists. I mean, yes, they do in like small groups, but not on a really large scale, which is what we're aiming for. So
mentorship is very important. That's
yeah.
what's come back. That's the feedback I've gotten over and over from students, is a lack of mentorship or a lack of leadership, not feeling that they can ask the questions, and not feeling like, that nobody wants to feel stupid when they ask questions. I mean, and in astrology, I mean, it's complicated. You can get a bunch of different, meanings out of a placement, out of a planet, out of a, planet sign. So it gets confusing when you have somebody who's been doing it for like 20, 30 years. And you're like, how did you see that? As the beginning.
Yeah, and it's hard because it seems obvious to the person, like the astrologer, because they're like, I've been looking at this for the last 20 years.
Yeah. And it's a second nature to them. And so I don't know, my goal is to kind of make it more elementary in the beginning and for our students, so they can actually grasp it. Because it's hard and it's intimidating and it's like, oh my God, there's squares. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Is it bad?
And I think it's good too to hear a lot of different ideas and opinions. I know when we have guests on, other astrologers, like I learned stuff that I never would have looked at it that way, just because you used to like looking at it through your own filter. But so it's good. It's definitely good to have a collaborative effort. Hi Mermaids Wear Hats, hi Friar, Pezzo, hi Pixie Dust and Spirit Alchemy, which is all one person, by the way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Happy almost the full moon, everyone. Happy almost to the full moon.
I know. I thought it was in Leo, guys. I told everybody yesterday, I'm like, you're pissed off and having a bad time because the full moon's going to be in Leo. And if it's in Leo right now, it's probably like in conjunct or something. I don't know. But
where is it today?
I sat down and looked at it and I was like, oh, that's right. Where am I? Who am I? What am I thinking?
What's today?
It's the 9th today.
Today is the 9th. I mean, you weren't wrong. The moon is in Leo. Hold on, I'll pull it up. Let me see.
Yeah, it's in Leo now. But
I mean, it counts kind of, right? That counts.
I ran into I worked yesterday, so I ran into a lot of people and they were all having issues. And I was like, it's the fucking moon. I'm telling you, it's Mars. It's the moon. like, you guys, it's okay. Just calm down, chill out. It was pretty good.
Did it work? Did it help?
Yeah, it helped a few. I have this happy dude who always comes in, who's super happy all the time. And he came in and he was not happy. He looked like he had not been happy. And he
first
I was
time.
like, oh, it's the moon. Just said it to make him feel better, because I was like, it's that goddamn moon. But we do forget that, we had a solar eclipse, so we're still in that cycle. I don't know if it's because there's a Pisces party going on, but I'm like, was that a few weeks ago or did that happen last month? So
I mean, we're still in the party. It's still going on.
Yeah, we are in it.
Yeah,
I love that. Art. That is some sexy art. I love it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I like this one. Yeah, I mean, everything's still over here. It might not be quite as intense, but we still have, and I know I just pulled it up to a weird image in here, but we have Venus, Mercury, Saturn still together. Neptune's right in her. Mercury is right in the same area. So it's, even though the sun's kind of moving along, it's still really, really intense, and we're still getting all of that. So
the Mercury retrograde ended, though. So I have nothing to blame now, guys. Nothing to blame. And it turns out it's not it's just me. It's me clicking the wrong links. I still don't know how the car got started, though. That's the only really weird thing. But
it still looks retrograde. Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know. He's stationed like on the 7th, I thought.
I don't think so. Where you get it? Did Google tell you? Because Google's a liar. You can't trust anything.
I don't remember now.
Hold on. Let me see. I don't pay attention to the retrogrades and stationaries. I don't care. So I don't know.
Notes, and so I just have them all like.
No, it's still retrograde. It stations on the 19th, 20th. Goes direct on like the 21st. Yep. Yeah, you can't trust the internet, Nikki. You gotta look, because it lies to you. It's shit. Being
Okay, so it starts turning around the 5th then. Okay. So
yeah,
that's
well,
what
like
we're
it's making
talking
its
about.
way. It's getting there. But the
Yeah.
20th, it looks like it's stationary. 21st starts to go direct. I mean, I'm eyeballing it. That's probably not the specific date and time.
Okay,
But,
14th. Venus goes out of retrograde on around the 14th too.
Are you sure? Let's find out,
Okay,
because
let's
that's not how it looks. It looks like it's still retrograde. And well, hold on. Maybe I'm looking at the orbit, Nikki. Let's forget everything I just said, because I've been cleaning for 8 hours, and I warned Nikki before we got on the call today that I was going to be dumber than usual. So,
and I'm like, oh my God, I can't help you there, because
you're right. I was looking at the orbit. I wasn't actually looking at the thing. Hold on, let me see here.
No, this art is so cool.
Yeah, it's distracting. It's too pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I doing? I'm searching for my little tiny planet Mercury, which is right here. Let's focus back in on it real quick, you guys. Stand by. And where are we at today? Yeah, so obviously it's hold on. Go back. What is today?
Today's the 9th.
All right. So hold on. Center, buddy. I need you to center for me. Gotta talk my way through it. Oh yeah, it's already. Yeah, it is. You're right. It's already been direct. It's already. Yeah. So no excuses, Nikki. No excuses.
No,
and then Venus,
none.
you said the same thing. Hold on. Let's see. When did we say?
Like
Starts 14. To go. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess so. Sure.
She makes a little loop.
Sure, I guess so.
I feel like, when it hits the end of the retrograde anyway, that energy just kind of goes away. All of that, like, weird.
I don't feel it. I don't discount your experience, because you've kept in contact with me through the retrograde and described all of your many electronic troubles and various things. So I'm not discounting it. All I'm saying is I don't have any issues with the retrograde. So like, I don't know. But again, maybe it's just like, some people can't eat wheat. Some people can't eat grain. Some people can't.
I think it was because I was talking shit and the universe heard me and was like, oh my God.
That is a possibility.
Let's hold my beer. I got to show Nikki something.
That is
I just got to stop saying things out loud. I'm like, stop testing me. I said I felt like I was getting gaslit into believing that all of these retrograde things were true. And then I had nothing but trouble. So, the battery on my computer was like dying. I had to go get a new one. Like
the new computer?
No, on the old one.
Oh, that's what
I was scared to buy a new one. I'm like, I'm gonna go get a new one. It's gonna be like a hunk of shit.
Get a lemon.
I'm keeping all the receipts, man. I'm just
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
Well, the new computer too is like a learning curve. So it's not like my Dell. I got a Lenovo. I'm a former Mac user.
I've never had a Mac. I don't know.
I bought a Mac when I was in college, and that thing lasted me forever. It lasted me up until just about like a year or so ago. So I did all.
I heard they're really good, but I use like Microsoft Office for everything, and I have since the mid 90s or whenever.
Yeah.
So it's a hard transition, and plus writing. I know it's like Macs are really good for other type of content creation, but like writing.
I haven't figured it out. I missed Mac, and I had gotten a iPad, like the iPad Pro, and I'm like, I never use it. Have
you ever noticed how many naked people are in some of this art?
I know. That's because the ancients, like, I swear to God, they had nothing to talk about and do.
I'm not going to say what is on here right now, but
like art.
You guys see what I see? Like,
It's pretty hot. I like it.
Putting it out there. I think they used to wear pants, especially if they have a cross on their little helmet. You'd think that they were the pants wearing sort. But apparently not. They just had capes. This is much worse than 300, where they had like Speedos and then the cape, and then the abs, the 8-packs each. Everybody had an 8-pack.
That reminds me of WWE wrestling. I'm going to a show in June. My son's going
hopefully they'll wear pants or not.
And
they don't. You might be into that. Yeah, I guess that's good too. Yeah.
I don't don't know.
Whatever works for you.
We'll see. Well, yeah, actually, Mars is going to be leaving Gemini really soon. He's already like hauling right out of there, and I think that's why I'm thinking better.
Okay.
Like I'm dreaming. We had our talk last week.
Yes, we did.
Talking about dreaming. Okay.
Yes.
Well, the next day I had a nightmare, and I didn't dream anything.
Congratulations.
Congratulations! I dream, and I have been dreaming now. All of a sudden. I had
Mars and Gemini had something.
Dude, I had the weirdest dream last night. It was like in my dream, I'm staring at a chart and it's like 0 degrees Capricorn. Everything was like at 0 degrees. And I'm staring at 0 degrees Cap. And I'm like, why the fuck is everything at 0 degrees? And I just sat there and stared at it. And I'm like, well, where is everything? What is that? Well, that doesn't make sense.
Interesting. Maybe something's going to go down when something's at 0 degrees of Capricorn.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe because we have Pluto in Capricorn. He is not in Aquarius. Pluto is in Capricorn, everyone. In case, you don't know, I'm sure most of the people who watch our show know that. But if you're new and you haven't ever explored and you're following tropical astrology, they're a whole 24 degrees off. Plus, I mean, they're actually whole signs off. It's ridiculous.
Lily was talking about once the organization's a little bit more stable. Is that the word we would use? If it's good and it's solid, we got a nice solid base going. Reaching out to some friendly astronomers. If you guys watch the show, High Look Up Astrology. Yes, prior there were penises on the screen for a second. I didn't draw the pictures. I just was zooming into them. That's all. So
I love it. Yeah.
Only partially my fault. But if you guys watch the show or you've talked to me, you probably know I'm a huge proponent of the electric universe theory, plasma, cosmology, that type of thing. They're pretty, that group is pretty open-minded, and we're definitely going to reach out to them at some point and see if we can maybe do some collaborative work with some of their astronomers and astrophysicists, the electric universe people.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love the Thunderbolts.
Yes.
I was obsessed with that for a little while, and I was like, well, this is pretty incredible. Yeah. I think learning just basic astronomy can show you why we do what we do in astrology.
Yeah.
Just knowing where the earth is, where the sun is, and why we talk about duality and why these signs are connected. I mean, the astronomy explains it all, basically. And I mean, in my, that's how I understood things. That's how it all clicked for me.
That's how it started. It was always meant to be based on astronomy. It was never meant to deviate from that. And whatever goofy excuses people use to justify it still make no sense.
I push to make the movement that we don't argue about it anymore. We just do it. It's going to be done.
I'll argue about it. I'm okay with it.
I'm just not gonna. I can't stand it. Like, imagine being 24 minutes late to everything every day.
Yeah,
that's tropical astrology.
What if your doctor was 24 centimeters away from where he's supposed to make an incision? Like 24 degrees out of 360 is kind of a lot. It's not good. Like, why are we not being precise?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, imagine like you're trying to figure out your life partner and they're telling you, their moon is like in Gemini and it's really in Cancer. I mean,
yeah.
Or Leo, because Cancer's so small, So, I mean, there's discrepancies and it means something, to somebody somewhere. And
Andre did those people forever. He's like, I'm a Virgo. And I'm like, and I don't know why I just kind of believed him. And I had other stuff going on. I was studying Russian. I was trying to get my life stabilized in a new country. But then I was like, wait a second. And I went and I looked it up and I'm like, you are such a Leo. And unfortunately, I hate to, stereotype Leos, but he's got like the stereotypical Leo traits of like just, pleasure loving, really sensitive, hiding it behind this ego, being very social and friendly and like everybody loves it. Like, and it was, I tried to explain it to him. I sat him in front of the computer with broken Russian, and I'm like, look, dude, you're nothing like a Virgo. You don't have a single Virgo trait. I guess he's good at math. A lot of Virgos are like accountants and stuff, if they have strong Virgo in the chart.
Leo's good with money though. Leo's good with math. I mean, come on. I
can't verify that.
Well, okay, not good with money.
Some of them have it in them for sure. For sure. Some of them have it in them, but like he sucks with money. If he's got 20 rubles in his pocket, which will buy you like a pack of gum, maybe, like he'll find a way to spend it. But he won't give it away. Like he won't give it to somebody who needs it.
And see, I think Virgo might.
Virgo might. Yeah, he's not a Virgo under any circumstance. But that's the thing. Like, and it's hard over here. I would love, because they love astrology over here. They're so into it. Just your average person. It's not so in the West. Like, and again, this doesn't apply to like India and stuff, where astrology is a part of the culture to a large extent. But in the West, astrology is kind of like a tabloid joke, and namely because of tropical astrology has been busting it for the last 2,000 years, right? Like just totally dropping the ball, getting stuff wrong. But here in the West, it's like hit or miss. Some people are interested, but they don't go all in, and it's like, it's kind of cool to think about, and whatever. But here in Russia, and this goes for other esoteric traditions, tarot, runes, they're really big in. They have like, your doctor sometimes will recommend you to a local shaman, which is good or bad, depending on how you want to look at that. So, but it's just a natural part of like spirituality is embedded in their culture too, believe it or not. And I wish I had the Russian vocabulary to talk about these things technically. It's hard sometimes to describe it in English, like to try to communicate why this is different than tropical astrology is tricky just talking to another person whose native language is English. But it would definitely, if it could ever get going over here, that would be so amazing. I mean, we're going to try to do it. It'll give me an excuse to go back to studying and brush up on my Russian, you guys. I took a break after I got my citizenship. I'm like, I just want to stop studying. I studied every single day, every morning for like 2 hours a day.
But enough to get by, and that's.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's really what matters.
Just not enough to teach astrology in Russian.
I actually met two different people yesterday who I talked to about their star charts. And I one was a client who came in and he was like, oh my God, I love astrology. I feel like it's such an incredible tool for to use to help people and counsel. And I use it for psychology. And I was like, well, tell me more. And he was like, well, I mean, at first it started out as like kind of like a drinking game, parlor tricks, where you're just talking to people. And
astrology their thing, like
the way he was like practicing astrology.
I got you.
So like he doesn't do readings or anything like that, but he uses it to understand other people. And he had never seen a star chart before. And he was like, oh, I'm a Virgo. And he's on the very, all of his sun and personal planets are actually on the very end of Leo.
Okay.
So we talked a little bit about his chart, and I won't spill any of his personal information, but he was like, this is really cool. This is like so spot on and like amazing. So yeah. And then I met another guy later on at night. It was my niece's boyfriend. And he was so disappointed when I told him he was a Capricorn. He was like,
everybody's no, that's normal. If you tell someone that they are suddenly a Capricorn or a Cancer, they get really bummed out.
Yeah,
because the modern versions of those suck.
They did. He did. And I told him, no, don't ever fucking listen to modern astrology or tropical or any of it when it comes to Capricorn, because they make you sound like you're an asshole. Okay?
Yeah, they do. It makes them sound terrible.
Yeah, you're loyal, you're dedicated. I said the whole thing about emotions, I was like, it's objective. Okay. Like you hold back because you know what you say or do is going to hurt somebody. It's your way of actually controlling the situation, you know, that Capricorn has to kind of control, but I mean, it's out of
It's
love.
a self-sacrifice. Yes,
Yeah. There you
yeah.
go. Then when I explained it to him that way, he felt better. He was like, yeah, that describes me actually. How did you know that? And I'm like, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I do. They know it specifically about you, but, and I didn't know, like, I didn't pull up his chart or anything like that, but it made me so sad to see the look on his face when I told him that. And then he was like, oh, I was like, that's it. That's it. I am so sick and tired of this. Like, stop dogging these Capricorns. Stop dogging these Geminis. I'm so like, stop being bullies, you know, some bully ass behavior, in my opinion. Everybody's got a shadow side. Everybody's got.
Yeah. All the constellations got their good and bad stuff. Even Sagittarius, you guys. I know Sagittarius is the constellation of success, but they can be control freaks. They can be really overbearing. I don't know.
I read about Sagittarius, like heavy Sagittarius placements, like they like different love conquests and love affairs, and they're not.
I don't think that's true.
Which I think is not true at all.
It's
because
not.
Every Sagittarius I've ever met had their shit together really good. Like, maybe not really good. Most of them though.
Better than your average person.
They got a good grip on reality. Let's just put it that way. They got a good grip on it, which is not what tradition.
And I hear how they're like really wishy-washy and can't commit to stuff. That's not true at all. That comes from the air association. No, is it that's the air and the mutable associations. It's not based on anything else. But strong Sagittarius isn't like that at all. They'll go, they're hunters. They go after what they want. And that requires obviously commitment and stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know. Is there
a wishy-washy constellation? I'm trying to think. I don't see that.
Well, maybe Pisces. I mean, because there's a lot of I think there's a lot of fogginess in Pisces. I mean, I get confused pretty easy. I'm not a full-blown Pisces. I just have my sun there, but I don't know. I think that energy can be like, do I want to commit to this? Do I want to throw it all in there? I don't know. I think Pisces can be wishy-washy. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I want to commit to this. I think Pisces can have commitment issues.
I would.
Little bit, maybe.
I would put that on the eastern fish of Pisces over to the Aries side.
Yeah.
I think that the western fish of Pisces, it does tend to commit more, especially to their loved ones, to like, you know, people that they care about or things they care about. That's where I think the commitment side of it comes in. But on that eastern fish of Pisces, I think you get more of that Aries energy, the Ketis energy, which is just it's hard. It doesn't want to pin itself down, and in that sense, you can definitely get it can be harder in the long term, I think, to commit. At least that's what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's actually I forget how big the constellations are. You know, like Virgo and Pisces are huge. They're huge constellations. Yeah. And Virgo, I mean, the sun is in Virgo the whole month of October. I mean,
is that when it's
yeah, the sun is in Virgo the whole month of October.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so like it's Pisces season now and everyone's like, it's Aries season.
Oh my God.
It's wild and crazy. Go do something wild and crazy. Like, not into it. Oh, the whole fucking Neptune and Aries is going to change everything. What changed? Nothing, because it's still in Pisces. Like, low. And hey, Neptune's like a little ninja, like, energy. Like, you don't know it changed until you're like, what the fuck happened?
No, those are all the excuses that people make.
Dude, they do. They make tons of them. Like, I'm tired of that. Like, and it's so funny because it's all based off of the wrong sign.
Yeah.
Like, I dated a Gemini and he cheated on me. I was like, well, he was a Taurus, not even a Gemini. Like, And then you don't even know all of it. You're just going by sun, you know, and sun is identity. But I mean, think about the moon. The moon placement would probably be a lot better to judge a person on.
Yeah, because then everyone in a 30-degree or like a 30-day span is gonna be a cheater if that was the case. That's definitely
No
not
shit.
what's going on.
Oh my God. Right?
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it doesn't.
I was gonna tell you. Oh yeah. So I'm not here to brag. Not here to brag or boast or anything, any synonym that you can come up with that's similar to that. But I did say that there was going to be some sort of giant global shift on the last new moon. When everything was, when was it? On the 20th? That was, yeah, basically when everything was right around here in this part of the sky.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, when we do these forecasts for the world, we have to, it's not just about one country or another. It's literally all 8 billion people spread out all over the world. A few days, I mean, I don't know the exact date. I forget what it was, but like a few days after the shift. And now keep in mind, this is a long-term shift. We had something happen, not to go down like a political rabbit hole or anything.
Oh, I was going to go down the political rabbit hole.
You are? Okay.
I was.
Well, before you do, we did have something that, as you may or may not know, I'm sure everybody knows, has affected the entire world on a very, very large scale, which if you follow geopolitics, you may or may not know that many people are projecting that this particular shift in the global order is something that is going to completely change the direction of, possibly civilization for the next, 50 to 100 years, depending on how you want to look at it. But things aren't going back to the way that they were. And I want you to know that I was here for it and I told you about it. So
yeah.
throwing that out there for you.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. I forgot Jupiter and Saturn are going to be squaring each other for a little while. It's just kind of one of those on and off aspects that they're going to be making. And I actually was watching the news this week and it was terrible. And I immediately it was like watching a horror movie for me. And I had to go on The Onion to go like get some soft news to laugh about it. I'm serious. Because, you watch a horror movie, you're like, oh, I need a Disney movie after this. That's kind of what the hell it was. Because I'm like, this guy's going to ruin.
But hold on.
I'm like, don't ruin the market. I'm trying to pull some money out at the end of this.
Hold on. I have to say this. I don't think I made this clear last time Michael was on and we were I'm always like micromanaging the chat and like trying to pay attention and actually run the show. So sometimes I'm not fully here for the conversation. Like right now I'm trying to find a high five emoji. High five. There it is, over to Mermaids Wear Hats, who also has, just like me, a moon in Aries. So yeah. But what was I saying? Oh, here's the thing. The people who are freaking out about the tariffs are trying to make it sound like the economy before this was just all peaches and cream, okay? We have been on track, not just the United States, most of Europe, a lot of countries have been on the verge of like complete and utter financial collapse where the currency becomes absolutely worthless. Like people going to basically people having, which we're not there yet, but almost, where people are burning dollars and money because it's actually worth more to just fuel your fire and keep you warm than it is to try to buy something. Now that sounds, we have the normalcy bias where like we haven't experienced that in the United States. I don't know that we've ever experienced that. So,
well, we had a recession in the 1980s.
Yes, but not anything like what we're
like.
It's not like the full currency collapse. So what happened was when and this has started some time ago when they as they've just been printing money like it's going out of style, right? We've been devaluing the currency in the United States and they've been propping it up artificially. And they do this for political reasons so that they can, make everything seem like, oh, it's so great. So then you'll vote for whoever they want you to vote for. And it's just another method of control. But in other countries, they've been getting rid of the dollar. They've been buying goods and services with other currencies, not the United States dollar. And the petrodollar is basically going away. And as this happens, and we were probably on pace for it one way or another, the dollar is going to crash. So I'm not saying that the tariffs are going to work. I don't know. I'm not an economist. That's definitely not my area of expertise. But what I do know is we were fucked one way or another.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of time. So if we just continued the way things were going, you know, like, and again, I'm not saying this is going to work, but I mean, at least they're trying something different. Who knows? Maybe it will work. I don't know. I don't think anybody does know. It's going to be one of those things where we just kind of see what happens and hope for the best. Hang on.
Back in the old, like the last Bush administration, you know, and then, you know, we had stimulus checks and we had all of this stuff happening after that. And that's never a good sign. That's never a good sign when they're like, hey, we're going to give you money. Really? You're just going to give me money?
Well, they need to give it. It's your money.
Okay.
It's your money. So they should give it to you.
Well, everything went up because everybody who's into capitalism was like, oh, everybody got money. I need money. So like, I'm going to raise my prices on everything. That was my take on it. I know that's not real. Like, I'm sure there's some like,
it'll for sure one way or another. It will suck for like a year or two. It has to, just that's the nature of like everything balancing itself back out.
Yeah.
But and it never may come back. But at the same time, like I said, it was a matter of time. It was going to crash, and it's actually really shocking that it hasn't completely crashed since then.
You know, I was watching the stock market yesterday. I had to stop. I was like, no, stop.
Don't. You can't trust the stock market.
I'm like, oh my God. I was thinking like, can I get into some kind, like, can I raise a skeleton army up from the dead and just like do something about this? Take over. This is ridiculous. I'm like, why are you ruining my life with these fucking tariffs? Now everything's going to go up. I'm not going to get fucking avocados.
In the beginning, it will go up. But listen,
I know. I just I got first world problems.
Don't avocado. How am I going to buy my avocados?
They aren't bad. I know I'll survive. I'll just have, go without. But when they're talking, they got, this billionaire from JP Morgan says, hunker down, be prepared for a nuclear winter, everybody. And that kind of shit scares me because it's like, you'll be fine, Mr. Billionaire JP Morgan. All of your friends will be fine. You'll still be golfing. You'll still like.
Not if there's a nuclear winter. Can't golf during a nuclear winter.
Whatever. He was just being exaggerating, scaring people, and it worked.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I don't watch the news. Never ever watch the news. Don't watch any news. I've said it 3 times. Hopefully that was the charm, and you'll never watch the news again.
I'm not going to. No, because I got so angry it gave me chest pains. I'm like, am I going to do this?
It's there to freak you out. It's definitely there to scare people. If you want to be informed, you got to find independent citizen journalists.
Well, Euro News is really good. Euro News is awesome, and I used to have a Twitter box, so I used to be able to get everybody from.
You can't trust you can't trust the European
news, and I can't anymore. So now I have to just
no.
Twitter box.
You don't need to watch any legit news organization. I say legit. I mean. No big corporate mainstream, like none of it. It doesn't matter what country it comes from. They're all propaganda. They work for someone. That's why, again, like independent citizen journalists, try to find people that aren't in anybody's cult. And that's where you're going to get the most objective information. And if you do, it shouldn't be terrifying. Their job should not be to just scare the bejesus out of you.
Well, so I look at the stocks and I want it. I just don't want it to fucking.
It's temporary, Nikki. Don't. It's temporary. Don't freak out. Listen.
Well, I am.
I did the full spectrum. 2025. Right. That's what year we're in. The 2025 U.S. solar return, and we looked at it for the whole year. We looked at it globally. There were a few spaces, and I believe. I want to say May. What was it? May.
Yeah, when Mars enters Leo, wasn't it that we were talking about?
There's one of them in like October timeframe too, there was a blip, but they level back off. So these right now, this is all the panic buying and selling, mostly selling. Just don't even worry about it. Just don't. Plus, you know what? You can wake up in a different universe tomorrow. Okay. Now I say that with all sincerity. I think I told you guys, I'll tell this story again. My friend, she loves blue, a very specific shade of blue. It's kind of like a light teal color, but she always gets blue her nails done. And when she goes to get them done, it's always from the same bottle. She doesn't go to like she goes and gets it from like her friend who does nails. Okay. So it's like the same person, the same bottle. It's all the same. Well, she got her nails done, and the next day she woke up and her fingernails or nail polish was bright orange. Now, there's no way in any universe that she was originally in that she would have gotten orange nails. And this was, if you had some sort of like chemical reaction on your fingers or something to the polish and it was going to change the color, you probably wouldn't have a uniform color. I didn't mean to flip you off. I'm sorry. You probably wouldn't have a uniform color. It would be like, and the edges would be a little bit different or something.
Yeah.
It was like,
it would look like a mood ring or something,
Yes, exactly. Perfectly orange. There have been a lot of people now. I don't know these people in particular, and I can't verify the stories, but a lot of people say they like woke up and all of a sudden, their boss is a different person. Their spouse or their girlfriend is different. I know there's been people who wake up after like head injuries and comas and stuff, and they say, I don't know these people. I have all these memories from this other life. Who knows if those people are really, like they just woke up in a whole brand new reality. So I do think that we can shift our timeline that we're on at any moment. And I think that that's a lot of what the Mandela effect is. I think that on a group level, and I don't know, you guys, I can only speculate. We do jump timelines periodically. So I don't see when it comes to scary stuff happening, I just assume and operate as though I'm on the most joyous and prosperous timeline. And I mean, I don't know what that looks like and I don't need to know. But it's definitely not the nuclear winter one. And it's definitely not the one where like everybody's starving and miserable. So definitely don't get wrapped up into like thinking whatever they're telling you is the reality, because the reality is whatever you're going to create. And you have the ability to wake up with orange nails tomorrow if you really wanted to.
Do you think that's where because in the spiritual community, sometimes they'll talk about somebody being a walk-in. Do you think that's where that comes from? Like you don't have to have a near-death experience and then all of a sudden you're...
I don't know that
I don't get that whole walk-in concept. And I know like we've talked about it a little bit in some of our calls when we talk about psychic stuff, but
I'm actually a walk-in. So I had an experience had an experience when I was 19. And it was not anything like a timeline jump. Basically a different soul came into my body. And it was, as far as I know, as far as I can tell, it was like almost like a past life incarnation of me. And it came in at a time when it was very, needed. And that's usually what happens in the walk-in experience. But it was very interesting because there was like a week or two period where it was like the old soul was phasing out or going away, and the new soul, which was actually the older soul, came in, and the personality changes, your taste buds change, your I don't really know how to explain. I know other walk-ins know what the experience is like, but it's definitely not like a timeline jump. It's more like I don't want to call it.
You think it's like collecting pieces of your soul from
other... but the other soul went away. It went to wherever souls go. It was gone. It was like, no, I can't do this. So it's going to go. And this other one's going to come in, but there was an integration. I'm trying to think of what to say without giving up too much of her. It was I did a ritual, an Egyptian ritual. I'm going to leave it at that. And yes, so there was a whole switching out, but it was really weird for my family and my friends and like the people around me, because they're like, we don't know like what's going on. Now everybody's just used to me, but I was like the soul in my body was a completely different soul. So the whole thing. Yeah. So long and short of that, it's the walk-in experience is definitely different than, I would imagine it's probably, so if you've ever done like mediumship or channeling, so mediumship, I consider mediumship and channeling different. So mediumship, you're just like talking to the other person, but channeling, you're actually on some level letting that spiritual entity in to communicate through you. I've heard a lot of psychics as they're channeling, like their voice changes. It's kind of like a mild form of spirit possession. But that's probably a closer approximation to what it was like. It's like having that, like a different spirit come into your body, but then it like takes over and then your original spirit goes away. Now, not all walk-ins have that same experience. That was my experience. And I mean, it's probably different for a lot of people, but I hear it's at least similar. I don't know. I think I've met like 2 other like walk-ins, like legit, like they're like, oh yeah. Cause it's not something that you want to tell people.
No, because it's in the psychic community too. Like the concept
weird.
First came up, people were like, some mediums were like, no, that's not real. And then some were like, oh, it's absolutely real. Like anything you can imagine, you can do, or it can happen. So yeah, I don't really mess around with that stuff anymore, but the ideas and the concepts and like talking about all of it, it just really interests me a lot. Other people's experiences, because I've just been making the entire time. So
it's probably an easier way to do it. I didn't know that was going to happen. I had no idea. But that is what happened. So, well, the moral of the story is don't do those types of rituals unless you are really ready for something big to happen, because something sometimes big happens.
Yeah, ritual magic is insane, you guys. It works. It
does. It definitely does.
Absolutely incredibly powerful. So take it seriously, in my opinion. It's come up a lot, actually, witchcraft and spells and curses and evil eye. And people have been asking me about it, and I've been talking about it. And I'm like, well, I don't know. You have to consider the source it's coming from, first of all. You know, is this a spiritually powerful person? And if they were, would they be using their power to curse other people?
Yeah, that's usually, I mean there's definitely a time and a place to curse someone, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like it has to be well earned.
Yeah.
For the rest of the universe too.
Amihana says sound is cutting in and out. Is anybody else? Me and Niki sound normal on our ends. Is anybody else hearing that? Maybe we can make some adjustments. Mermaid's Wear Hat says, is this kind of what happens when someone disassociates? I imagine it could be. I don't know. I think when someone, and again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know for sure, that's more of I would imagine closer to like a psychological break. This is, which may or may not happen spontaneously, but this was a like ritual induced situation. And there was definitely, I spent like this 2-week period, like I said, remembering things from these other lifetimes on top of it. And it was things that I was able to verify, which is always nice. Yeah. Then you're not like, okay, wait a second. Like I could just be guessing, but this is some pretty detailed information that I was able to pull out. So
yeah, I've lived like a gazillion lives, not even on this plane of existence either. This is a whole different playground here on Earth. I don't know. I know I sometimes I feel like Mr. Meeseeks, from Rick and Morty, where he just shows up and he's supposed to answer some questions and poof, he's gone. And I feel like that sometimes where I'm like, oh my God, I lived too long. I'm not supposed to be here this long, you know? Like, so, and I think that just goes to show like there were some lives where you come and you do things and then you're gone, you know?
Yeah.
That could be. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different, for me, it's been confusing, I think, when I try to think about it. Cause I'm like, well, how could that happen all at the, like around the same timelines? But you know, so we talked to Latonia, the very talented.
Yeah, she's coming back on in a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh hell yeah, girl! Your soul can split up and live in all different.
Oh yeah,
different times, and you could be experiencing a life, you know, south of the equator and not know it. You know? I mean,
yeah. It's called split incarnation, and I do think that it accounts for a lot of the doppelganger phenomenon.
Yeah, I just found one of me on the fucking internet. And
What
this
up?
lady, like, I got a picture, I screenshot it because I'm like, why the fuck is this me? And it's a chick, and she's and yeah, I was like,
you gotta send it to me.
I'll send it to you. She has the most awesome, badass punk rock haircut too.
Yeah.
She's visiting some Buddhists, and I don't know what the hell's going on. I was just scrolling. I was like, oh, fucking screenshot. I was like, I found one.
Yeah.
Just looks just like me. It's insane.
Well, it'd be interesting to see. So a lot of times these doppelgangers, they have almost identical lives. They marry people that have the same name. They they end up in the same profession, all kinds of stuff. But it's definitely like your soul. We because we're in our bodies, we tend to think that this is this is the experience. But your soul is this multifaceted fractal thing, and it can definitely be in lots of places at the same time. And I think that's why you get, there's a lot of people out there that claim to be Lizzie Borden and Hitler and like all the, these or other famous people from history, but they look like them too. Like they have memories and stuff, but that's because when you reincarnate, you're not necessarily confined to a single body. So, I mean, it's definitely possible.
My kids told me they thought I was Hitler in a past life.
I think
everybody's kids get mad and say,
I think your kids know how to push your buttons. That's what I think.
I know. It's like, it's not fucking Hitler. Somebody else who's nicer than that.
You gotta compare pictures. I don't see it. I don't see
the resemblance. No.
Yeah. Definitely not. Nikki, let's talk about this full moon coming on. What do you got for us?
Okay, the full moon, because I was like,
is that Saturday?
Off by a lot. I thought it was in Leo.
Saturday.
Obviously was not.
Okay. So now you got to wing it.
Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's right around here.
We have Mars squaring this full moon, and he's going to be moving into Cancer, those first last degrees of Gemini, first degrees of Cancer. So, his energy is going to kind of clash with our core identity, our emotions. So I feel like this could be a frustrating full moon for some people. You're going to have to create some kind of compromise between your actions and your feelings. I mean, you could fly off the handle. I mean, Cancer is an emotional sign, but I think it's also really good at hiding its emotions too. I mean, I know we talk about Cancer and sometimes, you're not into cardinal signs and all of that. And it's an initiator though. And you're using your emotions to initiate this new cycle. But yeah, I mean, we also have, Mars can be short-tempered. It can be impulsive and short-fused. So I think that's something we should, watch out for with this full moon. The moon being in Virgo, it can be reactive to, stimulation and, Virgo moon likes to overanalyze every experience and pick apart their emotions. So, there might not be a delay in an emotional response. You might be a little bit more reactive around this full moon. Intense feelings, we've got Mars also in opposition with Pluto, and it seems like it's scary, if there is, probably going to be confrontations or, power struggles, or even just intense feelings. Maybe, you're dealing with issues, personal issues with yourself, or you're dealing, or somebody else, you could be dealing with a person who, you feel has a lot of authority and power over you, and, you get reactive to it. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, Mars being in Gemini, it was very much for me a lot. It was a lot. It was just my brain was shooting all over the place. And it was really hard to focus and really hard to maintain any type of like grounded, like mental activity. But the imagination was there. The creative energy was there. And when it moves into Cancer, Cancer is going to color it with feelings. And, Cancer is also another sign that I feel can be very, loyal and commit to its deepest, desires and wants and needs. Pluto is about our soul's desires. So, obviously this eclipse has been about change. It's been about making changes. And then when you get the outer planets like Pluto and Neptune and Uranus involved, I mean, they're all, I think, sextiling each other. They're all they're all talking to each other. You're going to get changed whether you like opt for it or not. It's kind of transformations coming. And so just be prepared, be prepared for that. We're at the peak of the cycle now. So I'm thinking by like the 12th, 13th, 14th, it's all going to start kind of winding down. Let's see. We also God, what else? Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to create a lot of friction. I had to look to see. I was like, what else is aspecting the moon right now, which is like the whole Pisces party, obviously.
Yeah.
But there was it's in a waning, like inconjunct. So it's that inconjunct is still like pressure, it's not a full on opposition, but it's still like this pressure leaving and releasing. So I think there's going to be like, friction between our relationships, our responsibilities, how we communicate. It's going to be a time for, probably maybe miscommunications, or maybe flying off the handle. Maybe not. Maybe it's a perfect time for you. This is a horoscope for all the billions of people.
Yeah, it's hard to narrow everybody down. Yeah. Your individual chart will make a big difference
for everybody, and you all have all of your dreams come true. And
I pray for you all. I want you to know that I pray for all of you, even the people that don't listen to the show. I'm praying for you all to have the best life ever.
He's going to make it a little bit more intense. It's going to be a little bit more of could be more of a reactive type of full moon. Maybe you're not like as reactive, but you're deciding to make, decisions that are going to change, your direction, change, how you accumulate resources, how you make money. This could be how you change, you could change, religious affiliations, political affiliations. I mean, everything's up for grabs right now, and the change is big, and it's huge. It's out there. The Saturn being in Pisces is like closing out all of these old karmic cycles. So just expect it as he travels through Pisces, which he's going to be. Saturn is in Pisces until,
I'll tell you. Bye.
Yeah.
What do we got? It looks like, where is that? He's already right over there. Hold on. It's going to be, I'd say about 2028-ish.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. 2028. I wrote 2027. No.
I mean, I'm eyeballing it, Nikki. So like,
no. This is much better. Yeah. I was a year off.
I count this fish of, I know I'm like in a minority here, but I count this fish of Pisces and Aries. Usually when I talk, like if somebody's got something over here, I already count this as Aries. They all overlap. It doesn't matter to me. I know some people get hung up on that, but
no. Yeah, they do overlap. And that's something
this looks pretty intense too, though. We got Mars over here.
Yeah.
A lot going on.
Yeah, there is.
2028. Yep.
Yeah. 2028 is going to, Yeah, the next few years are going to be a little intense. Well, next year we'll have the actual conjunction of Neptune and Saturn. They touch, do a little like bump, they don't really touch, but they, they come into orb this year, but then they come apart and do some retrograding. Because I think Saturn's next to retrograde. Don't quote me on that though.
I don't know.
We should come on here with facts. I forgot to look to see. Usually I'm like, which one's next? It's
coming up. You're right. Yeah. Definitely right. Okay, so Saturn, we got 2025. What? Hold on. I guess so. I already consider these conjunct. But again, I have
same. I mean, they really are. They're so close. Saturn and Neptune are so incredibly close.
Yeah, they're real close.
I mean, they're definitely within orb. I mean, Saturn does like to cause, delays and make everything a little bit, what am I trying to say? He likes to teach patience.
I don't know.
And perseverance, and
he likes to be the boss. So hopefully you're on board for whatever he's going to do. Because if not, you're probably not going to like it. But yeah, he's trying to.
Yeah, I mean, our resources. I think they're going to get squeezed. Our health routines are getting They're getting worked over. I mean, I know my own health routine. A lot of folks I've talked to, even just their basic everyday routines, everything is changing. Like
Niki, he goes retro. He's a real guy.
In July.
Hold on. He goes retrograde right during that conjunction, like tight conjunction right there.
Yeah. Like
he's going to be stationary on top of Neptune. That is crazy. Yeah,
they're bumping butts. They're like,
they're definitely
let's dance a little bit.
Something.
Saturn, I don't think likes to dance though.
He probably does.
Neptune, yeah. You think they can?
I think they are.
The last time they were like in opposition, it really wasn't a good time, man.
When was it?
2008.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I still had a good time,
Everybody talks about the 2008 crash and like everybody, lost all their money. I think for the rest of us poor people, we didn't notice too much of a change.
That's right. That's why it didn't really affect me that much.
Yeah, like that stuff affects rich people. We were hungry. We didn't.
Yeah. Well, I lived within my means, and I think that's always been a rule of mine. When I step outside of that rule, I always end up paying very dearly for it. So I live within my means, and I encourage everybody else to do the same thing. Don't live off of credit. Don't try to.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Like just if you have to use it, don't be like, well, I just put all my Starbucks drinks on here, and then I do my shopping and I put all that on. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Exercise some financial restraint and control, because you're going to definitely want to in the next 2-3 years. Totally rethink the way that you spend your money, how you are even engaging in God, even just buying food, like everything. It's all changing.
Yeah.
Jupiter's really like super awesome and super nice, and Taurus. I've been really like, I'm how I feel about Jupiter. I'm like, are you all blessings all the time? But I think he's really giving us a lot more of like inclination. We're learning what to do and how to do it and what works for us personally, especially when it comes to like accumulating resources, building our foundations, all of those Taurian things. People are picking up new skills. They're, adding to their, repertoire and their tool belts, and they're, exploring and doing new things. I've noticed a lot of people are wanting to open up spiritual practices, holistic practices. I'm
telling you, it's a bigger shift.
Yes.
People are moving away from, and I really do think that, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but the AI is getting rid of a lot of jobs, yes, but it's also giving people an outlet and an opening to it's freeing up some people's time.
Yeah.
And I think that they're allowing themselves to redirect their focus and attention into more spiritual pursuits and natural living and stuff. And I think overall it'll probably be a good thing. We'll probably still have to fight the Terminators. I mean, there's still that's probably still going to happen, but it'll level off. It'll balance itself out.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not like how, oh my God. Hopefully not. Oh my God. I forgot about the Terminators.
Yeah, they have
when I was a kid, that shit was going to happen, and I just watched it.
I remember. What is it in the movie? It's like July. It's not. It happens in what, like 96 or no 99 or I don't know, but it's like July 6th. That's like Judgment Day or whatever. And we were all freaked out, like, because back then we didn't really have TV channels, so we just watched the same movies over and over and over again, and that was definitely one of them.
That was one of them.
Yeah, we were all freaked out. That movie was so terrifying. Like both of them, the first two, the other ones, no.
The machines are taking over, though. They really are, and I think it's way more like extensive and crazier than we ever really imagined, because we only find out about these things like 20 years after, and they still are 20, 30, 50 years technology wise ahead of us that they just
they definitely, like the dark projects and stuff, they definitely have stuff that's they're going into other dimensions. They're doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, opening stargates up and shit.
100%.
Oh, don't worry, guys. Yeah, you cracked the magnetosphere. We all saw it, and now you can't find a fucking article about it at all because Google scrubbed it. Like, thanks.
Google does scrub things.
I that shit when I had the chance.
Do it for real, because a particular educational institution that had I'm being very careful because I cannot say the words, it will get flagged. A particular pew pew situation. At an elementary school, supposedly. That stuff's all gone. You have to go to BitChute and just pray to God that you can still find the old documentaries. And I did. And I went and I downloaded all those motherfuckers, and I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to have it, because at some point it's going to be just like 9/11. Everybody's like, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's really obvious what's going on here. And now it's okay to talk about it. So I'm just waiting for the day when it's okay to talk about this particular situation that we knew at the time. Everybody knew at the time it was all fake. We actually knew in advance. Because I had military connections. I was former military. I had a top secret clearance and stuff. So I had the inside scoop, and we all knew it was coming. And we were all told to go buy your guns, go buy your ammo, because there's a surprise coming in the fall. And there it was. And it was all ridiculous. So actors playing the same roles.
There's been a lot of that. And the documentary, there was one about Hollywood, and you can't find it anywhere. I forgot the name of it too. It's a simple name. This guy just came out and talked about Hollywood and all the people and the Satan stuff and the babies and the children and the trafficking and the horrible things. And you can't find it anywhere. They're like, oh, he was just one of those crazy right-wing Christian folks. So we just got rid of it because he's crazy. Really? Okay, because it's sounding and looking really real.
Yeah, at this point, the conspiracy theories, yes, the conspiracy theories are coming out as being very obviously true. So, and I don't care, you guys. The more I look at the moon landing stuff, the more ridiculous it looks. I've seen shadows on the street. I don't care. I know what shadows look like. Okay. I also know what it looks like if you have a spotlight in one area. It makes the shadows intersect. That just doesn't happen normally, in a any given area. And you know what really is bothering me lately? They try to tell you, I don't know how we got in this conversation. They try to tell you that the reason why you can't see the stars on the moon is because what is it? Just the way they had their camera set up, they weren't designed to take pictures of the sky. You mean to fucking tell me that you went all the way to the moon and you didn't bring a single camera that could take a picture of the sky without any type of atmospheric interference? Are you kidding me? Like, you spent how much money on this project and you didn't get a single picture of the sky? Now they're like, oh, well, you can't see it because the moon is so bright and it like makes the sky harder to see. We have plenty of pictures in Antarctica, in the Arctic, in the dark, with, you know, clear of the sky, even though the light is still reflecting off of the snow. That shouldn't, like, the snow is pretty white, you know, very similar to the moon.
Yeah, that broke my heart when you said that it's not, it can't be real. And I've gone and I've looked and I'm like, wait a minute.
There's just no way. There's no way.
This isn't. Did JFK get assassinated before or after we went on the moon? Do you?
Yeah, it was after.
It was after. Do you think he was gonna like spill the beans and be like, "Hey, it wasn't real, aliens"?
No, there was other stuff going on, like way more important stuff. But they could. So like the Russians went to space and the Americans panicked. They're like, we can't let them get to the moon first. So they had to they just went out and just lied. They just lied so they could hurry up and end it. They had other stuff they wanted to fund, other wars and, you know, whatever. But there's no way we went to the moon. There's no way. None of it makes any sense. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, we went to the moon with not, like, humans didn't go to the moon. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have survived the radiation. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah. I don't know. When you listen to the electric universe and how the planet is just, you know, pushed in by all of this energy, like, we're kind of, I don't want to say we're trapped, but the way they made it sound, it was really hard to bust through that layer. Like, it's not like you can just shoot rockets up there.
Well, even in low Earth orbit, you're technically still in the Earth's atmosphere to some extent. So like, you're still within, you know, like you're still on Earth kind of. The distance to the moon is incredible. But so every time you fly, and I was at air crew, so you know, we had to learn a lot about this and the dangers of it. And like, you have to be aware, like, if you're flying in an airplane all the time, every time you fly above like 30,000 feet, you're basically getting the radiation of a chest X-ray. So your chances of developing the subsequent cancers they go way, way up the more you fly. If you leave the Earth's magnetosphere, you are being bombarded with cosmic rays and gamma rays. Like, there's particles that are flying close to the speed of light that can just like pierce your spacesuit, your what, you know, all your stuff. To just assume like, yeah, we just went in this like tin can basically, you know, with a couple walkie-talkies, and there's only a 4-second delay on the radio. Shut up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When you put it that way, I'm like, all right. That's probably, you're probably right.
Like some plexiglass and some like tin. I don't think so. No way.
Right. Oh my God.
Like, have you seen the inside of the Apollo?
No.
Spacecraft? Like, it's like a tin can. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, what about that story about Buzz Aldrin punching a guy in the face because he was confronting him about never landing on the moon?
Yeah, he asked him to swear on the Bible that he went to the moon, and he got pissed and punched him. Yeah.
That was kind of rude.
And when they were all given their press conference after the fact, they all looked bummed out. They all looked like, you could tell, you could see it on their faces that they were lying and they knew it and they felt like shit about it. Because they're probably pretty decent people, you know, and then they're like, you guys have to do this or it's all over, you know, you got to lie.
Yeah, this is the American, like, reputation on the line, and we have to be Russians there, and we have to do everything we can to have that big dick energy. And
that's right.
Everybody. Like,
Mermaids Wear Head says, I saw that back in 2020 and it was incredibly convincing. I had no idea that it had been scrubbed. Oh, which one was that?
Yeah,
the documentary you were talking about
yeah,
stuff?
you can't find it on YouTube. I had to find it on I found a link somewhere and I posted it in one of my groups and I was like, oh my God, here it is. I'm going to save this forever. And I don't know where the link went. I have no idea.
Remember those days when you thought like, oh, YouTube will just have this. Well, you don't have to save it. It'll just be on here forever.
No, No, you
Yep.
can't find it. I found a Spanish version of it.
That's
but that's gone too. So yeah,
go on BitChute.
he exposed a lot of different people, and look, lo and behold, we have P. Diddy, who's like the biggest sex trafficker, allegedly, the biggest sex trafficker that they've caught in Hollywood so far. And I don't know, like I'm just always a naturally suspicious person. So after everything came out about Epstein, it was just so unreal. We have a whole national, not national, worldwide crisis, and now we have to shut the whole fucking world down, and all the governments are on board with it. And now all of a sudden, what? Nobody's talking about it. Maxine, his little pal, like she's going to jail. Like, we have no fucking idea. Nobody's seen this guy. No, it's not real. Like, it just pisses me off because I feel like they totally covered some shit up. And
they covered the whole thing. He was a honeypot operation.
And then they tried to kill us with some weird virus shit because they're like, you guys need to shut the fuck up. I don't know what the hell it was, but I'm super, super paranoid. I'm like, was this like another Garden of Eden thing where you guys are just doing like weird human experiments and cloning and all this other crap? You know, like there's just something really sinister about it. And I just don't. Yeah,
it is really sinister. I don't think it's reptilians. I don't care what David Icke says. I don't think the reptilian bloodlines are doing. I don't think it's that, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. The rest of the conspiracy stuff, it's probably true because if it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck. Come on. They just keep trying to gaslight us.
To me, very oddly suspicious. Now the whole world is like, you're right. Oh, you're absolutely right. We need to shut down because this is so dangerous. And yeah, perhaps it was a very dangerous virus. I did catch that virus. I
think we all did.
Thought it was horrible. I was like, well, this isn't fun at all. But
no.
Yeah, I don't know. That was really oddly timed. So
yeah,
well, it doesn't make me I'm still on the what the fuck. You guys hit a whole bunch of shit, and now it's all swept on. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares because now we're on COVID vaccines. Let's create the people need to fight with each other. They can't be against us.
Exactly.
So feel tricked and powerless.
Well, not really, because again, jump timelines, go on the happiest ones. Good. Listen, is horrible as it was and remains. The Ovid K situation.
Yes.
I don't know if the algorithm speaks Pig Latin, but some good things did come out of it. For one, suddenly, a lot of the world woke up to like the bullshit medical stuff, government control, censorship. Like a lot of people, a lot of them who were vaccine injured in particular were like, wait a second, you mean I shouldn't just believe everything the government tells me? And then they're starting to look at their food. They're looking at other vaccines. Like it did wake a lot of people up. It's very unfortunate that it took that type of situation to happen, but I suspect that's how it is in throughout human history. It really takes people to be in a really shitty situation before they start to do anything. And we can see that in our own personal lives too. A lot of times it's naturally hit rock bottom. You smoked up all your crack and, drink all your Jack Daniels or whatever. And you're like, okay, now I've woken up in a pile of my vomit too many times. I definitely need to make a change. I'm not speaking from personal experiences. That's not my vice, you guys. I'm definitely a caffeine junkie. I'm not going to lie. I've been, that's why I cleaned for so many hours today, because I drink some black tea. And it was like I'm on my limit. I can feel myself like going back down to that dark place where I'm just like tweaked on caffeine all the time. I'm not going to do it. I'm trying to be a responsible drug user right now. And caffeine is a drug. I don't care what anybody says. When everybody's like, oh, I just really need a coffee. All I think about is like, like you're just doing a little bump of cocaine. That's all it is. It's just a little teeny amount, right?
Dude, I started out this retrograde. I bought decaf coffee and didn't know. I didn't fucking know. So
like my drugs aren't working. What's
10 days. I'm sick. I'm having headaches. I feel like I have the flu. I will not go to the doctor unless I
drug withdrawal.
have to.
Yes.
And I thought, I'm fucked. I gotta go in. And that I wake up that next morning and I look and I see it's decaf, and oh my God. I even went home sick from work. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me, guys.
Yeah.
Caffeine
You were going through drug withdrawal.
Oh yeah.
And it is real. And it's so ubiquitous in our society that, and it's like just okay. Like imagine if we just all woke up and did some coke. Like, and like it was, you know, you just went to your local coke dealer, like Starbucks instead of coffee still, you know, sold cocaine. It's basically the same. It's just like a very moderate amount. So we just think it's okay, but really it's still very much a drug. But whatever, that's fine. You know, like there's there's worse things for sure.
There's worse drugs out
I'm
there.
not judging you. I'm jealous because I want more because of, you know, the drug addict nature. That's just, you know, what drugs do to you, I guess. But
yeah, I know. Michael had mentioned, well, Niki, you might be addicted to sugar, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And
we're all addicted to sugar.
My daughter bought me a big bag of pink Starbursts for my birthday, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I haven't had these since like.
Did you put on some techno? You're like,
no, I didn't eat them. I left them at work because I was like, I'm going to share these with everybody here because I don't. If I indulge, I will not stop. I will not stop. And then I'm going to pay the price for it later. I always do. Oh,
you know what? This place on the corner, right across the street. It's this little fruit shop, you know, and they're all the fruit stands are like all the people from Tajikistan and Uzbekistan.
Yeah,
and they like, you know, they import the fruits or whatever, and it's great. They're all delicious. But they have baklava, and oh my God, it is the greatest baklava ever. I've been like, it's so sweet and sugary, and it's like syrup. It tastes like the syrup they make. Oh, what's that one stuff? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyway,
syrup? Like a date syrup?
No, it's not. It's like I don't know. My brain's not working right now. But anyways, oh my God, it's so good. And I'm like, well, I'll just have a little bit. And then what do you know? I'm like over there, but that's all right. I'm powerlifting. I'm on a powerlifting cycle, and I'm like I'm squatting and deadlifting well over my body weight now. So I'm just gonna keep eating and not worrying about it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I'll worry about that. But yeah, we're all sugar junkies. Even people who are like on carnivore, if they go back on sugar, oh, your brain lights right up, your mouth lights up. I mean, it's overwhelming. You don't want to do a lot of sugar, but like if you give somebody like that fruit, like we're all sugar junkies. We can't. It's, you know, it's just a natural narcotic, basically. You know.
Yeah. Well, I tried the organic fruit strips, and I even made them myself, but they mess with my digestive system. Like it's like glue in there. So I like that. So I've just been eating like dried cranberries and raisins, and it tastes like fruit snacks. So that's getting me through because I'm like, I can't turn back.
I love dried cranberries.
Yeah. They're
so
amazing. Good. I love it. It's my favorite. When I quit drinking, I was huge into red wine. And so what helped me was actually just drinking cranberry juice because it was
I love cranberry juice.
And I was like, oh wow, I actually feel good.
Yeah.
And it satisfied that until, you know, I didn't want it anymore. I didn't have to have it, that routine and that habit just
that's a lot. It's so much of it actually. It's just, you know, it's like built into your day.
Yeah, the routines. Oh my God. I had a routine, and it involved having wine every day. I was like, so it was the hardest thing for me. I quit smoking cigarettes twice in my life, and that was hard, but and I've had other things I've had to quit in my life, but alcohol was probably the hardest and the worst. And I don't know why. I'm like, I never wanted to be a drinker. I didn't drink for so many years, like so many. I have a family of, you know, that has dealt with alcoholism and horrible things. So I was like, never going to be a drinker. But I don't know, that like Target mom life with the wine and the bullshit. Yeah. I was a hairstylist, so we were all into it, and it just caught up with me and like clonked me over the head. Next thing you know, it's in my water bottles. It's like
Niki, what do you have in Virgo?
I have Saturn and Pluto in Virgo.
Interesting. I have noticed, now this isn't one of those things where I would, I'm more still in data collecting phase. We'll put it that way. Like I won't assert this in a reading because I don't know for sure if it affects everybody, but I have a sneaking suspicion that some of that habitual nature is actually something to do with Virgo. Strong Virgos seem to be really locked into routine. And I don't know that it matters so much what you have there, but I know my Virgo's really strong. I have a Jupiter Saturn conjunction right on my ascendant, and Virgo right above and above the ascendant. And like I'm a super ritualized routine person. Like I've struggled a lot with OCD, and I've kicked most of it, but it was definitely like an issue. But it's just like breaking the habit is very uncomfortable. You get like that voice in your head that's like something bad's gonna happen if you try to go against the routine.
Oh my God. Yeah. It becomes a superstition then. And I noticed I was doing that. And I was like, if I don't do this, then this will happen. And it was just completely based off of weird superstitious thoughts that had no fucking basis for like a reality whatsoever. And I would have to look at the cycle and look at the patterns and be like, okay, this is taking an honest look at myself. And I think more people should do that and actually making changes instead of talking about it.
For sure.
It's hard, but it's hard when you're rigid about it, super rigid. Like in my profession, when I, was a hairstylist, it had to be perfect every single time. Like, and I would take so much time on somebody and they loved that concentration. They're like, we love that you like are trying so hard, but it looked really good 10 minutes ago too. You don't have to keep fussing with it.
Yes. I think that's a Virgo thing too. I don't know 100% for sure. There's probably other places where that can show up. But I do think it shows up with the strong Virgo that like a super, and I hate to give it credit because that's one of the more like classical modern ones of like attention to detail. Now, I personally think it has something to do with more the connection to the physical body, which is what Virgo, I think in a lot of respects works. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it at this point in the night. I'm definitely too dumb to do it.
But it's not there. Yeah.
But it's interesting. It would be interesting to see if anybody out there let us know if you know. But it's one of those things I keep an eye out for when I'm doing readings, and I'll ask people because I'm not 100% sure on it, and I'm not going to tell somebody like, oh, this means that you're this way, unless I know for sure. Like they're definitely that,
Yeah, my Virgo placements, they trine my moon. So like, yeah, it becomes a pattern really, really quick.
Okay. And I put down, I have like a makeshift tatami mat basically. And it's so good to like get on the floor. Go to bed. Like it's such a great feeling. Like, oh, you're just like, you're there.
Yeah, I used to sleep on the floor when I was younger, and now I'm just too, I don't know. I just have too many like issues.
Oh, it's great. It's so great. I don't know.
I sleep wrong and I'm totally fucked. Like Sunday, I sat so long on calls that my back hurt all day Monday. I couldn't move, and I had to I still have to get the roller out. But I've been doing my squats. I'm trying to build that perfect ass that comes out, like it's hard, you guys. It's so hard when you don't have the body structure for it. I'm like going to be doing donkey kicks the rest of my fucking life, but
donkey kicks
because I didn't use proper. Actually, I was trying to hurry, so
I'm telling you, Niki, you got to squat.
Squats. Yeah,
you got to squat.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Totally,
100%.
Yep, that's what I've been doing.
Okay,
but I feel like, and I don't know, I didn't stretch enough. Maybe I tried to work out too many days in a row.
Oh yeah, you don't want to work out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You should.
I used to love to work out every single day. Every single day.
Oh, it's so hard on your nervous system.
It felt really good though. But yeah, it wipes you out. It just totally wipes you out.
It definitely does, especially if you like work out really hard. Like people don't realize how much energy you're expending to do that. It's very, very difficult. I mean,
yeah, then I eat a lot more.
You have to
protein.
Yeah, you gotta condition yourself to get to that point. It's definitely doable, but I've tried.
Oh, I was
What?
at that point, and that's why I thought I could jump right back into it. But I hadn't worked out in probably the last 2 months, like regularly anyway. So, oh, I felt it. It
You'll get
shows.
so much more out of it if you put 2 to 3 days between your training sessions. And if I wouldn't do any cardio.
No, I don't really
Don't
do
do
a whole
cardio.
lot of cardio. Well, I used to love to run on a rebounder, those little mini trampolines. And I would do that because my joints are so like,
You
my
can run
joints
on
would
it?
hurt so bad. Yeah, you can jog on it. You can like do jumping
Shut
jacks.
up.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's good for your knees. Like your joints aren't like your knees aren't hitting the hard pavement. So
Oh, I just wouldn't run on the
and it's
pavement.
fun. Like I don't know, I would jog on, but I have a downstairs neighbor and I have to be careful.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's gonna hear it because you're like doom 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 doom.
I ride my bike in the summertime. I go like 30 miles or something.
See, I love riding my bike, but I actually am selling my bike. I have like one of these really awesome cruisers, but I live in
sell it.
I'm gonna sell it. Yeah, I have to. Well, I can't use it. I live in a neighborhood that would get stolen like immediately.
While you're on it?
Probably, yeah. I mean, it could be. Like,
oh, that's not good.
Well, I mean, it's not that bad of a neighborhood, but I definitely know that it wouldn't last. It wouldn't last being outside here at all. And
oh no, you'd have to bring
up and down or lock it. It just, I was like, no. So
Mermaids Wear Hat says hip thrusts are the best for isolating the glutes. Probably yes. I don't like to do isolation exercises too much personally. I like to hit as many areas of the body as possible. Plus, do like more functional. Because let's face it, how many like situations in life do you need to be able to do a hip thrust? That's not for like it might make your like it's not like a lot.
How many? I don't know.
how many like how many positions do we really have where you need to but like squats and deadlifts are definitely useful for most things.
I like planks and I like planking. I like doing like static, movements where, you are in that, like, I don't know, God, sometimes I'm like on the floor in a hip thrust and then I'll lift my legs up just to work my abs. So, I mean,
yeah, that's good.
I'll go to town. I know that to have a strong back and I need to have a strong core and, my back was effed for so long and like, I've been working on everything. So I definitely like, I worked in healthcare for a little while and, being so at a point in my life where I was just so unhealthy. I just didn't want it to go into that other realm of unhealthy where, you cough and all of a sudden you piss your pants or something. Tell me that because, women who have kids, they know like the muscles change, everything changes. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't have surprises like that happening too.
Right. There's a thing for that. I forget what it is. But probably the stuff you already know about. So I'm not gonna like blow your mind with new knowledge or anything. But that stuff's definitely fixable to an extent.
Yeah.
By the way, hold on. To the moon and back says, yes, my husband has Virgo moon and Virgo ascendant. He loves to clean the kitchen sink and it has to be super clean every time. Yes, which is how we know my husband was not anything to do with Virgo. He had no Virgo anywhere because he will not wash a single dish. Okay.
I love that. It gave it away. You're like, you're definitely not Virgo.
To the moon and back also says my moon in midheaven is in Virgo. I am more obsessed with routines at work more than in my own home. Okay, well that would make sense if the midheaven's up there. Yeah. I'm telling you, I think there's something there for sure. Kegel exercises for the pelvic floor. Yes. There's another one too, and I forget what it is though. It doesn't matter.
Having children in the US, I know that I read long after I had my kids, that everybody does it different in other countries. And maybe in the United States, it was just where I live, but they didn't talk about, Kegel exercises. They didn't talk about strengthening your core after having a baby. They were just
even before. Like,
are you depressed? And what kind of medication can we give you? Like, that's really what it was. And I, obviously had the baby blues after my second child because I had them right in a row. And I remember trying, like, I forgot what they gave me. It was like Lexapro or something like that. And I had every single fucking like side effect imaginable happen within like an hour. I was on the couch.
That sucks.
Oh my God. I called my pharmacist. He's like, never take it again. I called the
Yeah.
doctor. Like, he was a dick. He was like, you just took that. So like, you just need to keep taking it and then you'll feel better. And I was like, dude, I've tripped on acid. I've had acid trips better than this fucking pill right now.
That happened to me with Prilosec. I almost opened the car door to escape from life at one point because the Prilosec turned everything into a Tim Burton movie. All the color bled out of the world, and I thought I was becoming schizophrenic. And I like almost like I had like what I thought was a nervous breakdown, and I went to the I got at least had the good sense to finally get a doctor. But I mean, it was bad, and I had a good doctor. We call him Dr. Baltar. That was not his name, but that's what we called him because it was similar. But anyways, I remember talking to him and somehow like clicked. He's like, are you taking any new medication? I'm like, well, I'm just taking this medicine for my stomach or whatever. Well, he's like, well, that could be it. So I went and read the side effects. Sure enough, like hallucinations. It's like 0.03% of people get it because it's Prilosec's like right over the counter, you know. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Obviously I stopped, but yeah, people don't realize how trace amounts of chemicals can have such a huge influence on you, like an impact on you. I had really severe, because you guys know, maybe you don't know, I had like severe panic disorder and all kinds of issues. So a part of that was my stomach was just, like ulcers, and it was just on fire most of the time. So that's why I was taking the Prilosec. So that didn't work, obviously. But then I looked it up. Turns out nature had a fucking solution. Big surprise. I took slippery elm supplements for about 6 months. Never had an issue again. No acid reflux. I had scopes done. Like they tried everything to figure out what was wrong with my stomach. Like nothing worked, but the slippery elm solved the problem, and I never had an issue again. That started my long journey of becoming very skeptical of doctors and being like, wait a second, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Obviously having 23 miscarriages and no one, even exploratory surgeries, nobody could figure out what's wrong with me. Like I fixed that one too with nature. Thanks, doctors. But yeah, like they don't know. Some of them do, like there's functional medicine practitioners. There are some good doctors out there who actually give a shit. They research, they're open to like other things, but they're general, like, Western medicine's like, no, you got to have this pharmaceutical company solve all your problems, and which is going to give you 10 more problems, which they're going to solve that too. But God forbid you actually try to like figure out the cause of the problem and fix it and use something natural.
Yeah, if you use any natural products, they flip right out.
Yeah.
This one woman used, she used, I believe it was just CBD oil, and she gave it to her husband who had cancer. He's laying in the hospital dying of cancer, and he had been awake for days and days and days. And they were like, oh, it's just because of the cancer. Well, she gave him the oil, and he finally went to sleep. He started finally feeling better. And then so she told them what she was doing, and they kicked them out of the hospital.
Yeah, you can't tell them.
You can't do any, horrific. I was like, they should be thrown in jail for doing that to a person. And they're not. They're just like, we're in charge of you, and we tell you what drugs to take. And if you do anything natural, we're going to make sure that you're blacklisted, that you don't even get any help. They literally told this woman, we're going to make sure he doesn't get hospice care. We're going to call, your insurance company and let them know that you're not compliant. And then she was so afraid they were going to call the state and take him from her, and he was already dying.
And what does that tell you about like the state of modern medicine, or at least again in the West? Scary. They're working for the drug companies. The drug companies cannot have competition. It's obviously a sin. And so anything natural that they don't have a patent on, they gotta come after you. I work in
the cannabis industry, so I get a lot of people who come in and they're like, hey, my husband passed away and I can't sleep at night anymore. I'm depressed, and I know that my brother-in-law said he takes these gummies. Could they actually help me? And obviously I have to have the conversation with them. Like, well, what are you prepared to take? Because there's many different levels. CBD is absolutely safe for everybody to take. And it's a great mood enhancer. I mean, I was taking CBD regularly. And one day, you're never going to believe this, I wasn't road raging. I was so like, oh my God.
I believe it.
Yeah, I was so calm. And I'm like, oh, I should be pissed off that guy cut me off. Like, it was so nice. So like, I don't know. And it doesn't get you high. It just mellows you out. Like, what's so wrong with that? It's not habit forming. It's not addictive.
It's nature's medicine.
Nature's medicine. And it's so taboo, especially in my area, because we have the like bar association, bar league or whatever. We have multiple like breweries. I mean, we are alcohol central here. So,
well, that's a problem too, because they don't want you to, some of those natural medicines make you not want to drink anymore. And that can, mess things up too. It's so crazy that you're allowed to drink, just get totally inebriated and be like a person, be around other human beings. And like, that's socially acceptable, but you can't just like sit home and like smoke some weed or something and watch movies and laugh. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I know. I have ex-cops that'll come into the store too. And I've had one of them tell me, he was like, well, I've never had to go and arrest a violent hippie.
Yeah.
I've never been to it's always, can you turn it down? Your pizza's burning in the back too.
Right.
I can smell it.
Yeah.
Turn the music down. Yeah. That's it. So, I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, I think the commercials, the programming, I mean, we have a whole generation of folks who are like, I won't try it. I won't do it. I won't use anything cannabis unless it's legalized, because they've been told that it over and over, it's just as bad as heroin. And I'm sorry, it's not. You don't get a heroin buzz off of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, heroin can be legal. The doctors prescribed heroin.
Yeah, see?
It helped you, and then they prescribed cocaine to help you get off of your heroin addiction. And then, yes, so yeah, they have a track
your blood. Yeah.
You see those ads from like the 40s and stuff. They're like, you should smoke Winston's cigarettes while you're pregnant. It will help you have an easier pregnancy because your baby won't weigh as much. Like these are the same people, that are telling you all these drugs are you're perfectly safe. Yeah. So like now all the people taking Ozempic, turns out it causes blindness.
Shut the fuck up. Really? It causes blindness now?
Yes. And these people are going in and telling their doctor like, I'm blind in one eye now. And they're like, yeah, just keep taking it though.
Stop. They would. They
yeah.
would. Tell them
yeah,
to keep
for sure.
it. Yeah, because they make money.
Yes,
I worked for 6 months in a healthcare clinic, and I thought about driving off the side of the bridge like just about every fucking day. It was horrible. So the people who work in healthcare, you are heroes. My God, nurses, all of you. Like the fact that you can deal with this shit, on the regular, like God bless you, but I can't. I see how so asinine, ass backwards it all is, and I couldn't handle it.
No, you guys are champions.
Yeah,
most people's jobs I couldn't do.
Yeah,
I don't know how people do it.
Jobs I couldn't do, but that was one I thought I could do because I'm like, well, I love to help people. I want to help people. You get there and like
that's how it starts, and then you're doing paperwork and throwing drugs at people.
Yeah,
and getting bitched at. And
I got yelled at a lot.
Yep.
A lot. That's actually every day. Every day I went in and got yelled at. Common sense does not prevail. Common sense does not work in healthcare, so don't use it. Don't even attempt. So, that's a whole nother show, you guys.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's a personal blog, actually.
Most of the people I know who go into healthcare and they stay for any length of time, they end up burning out really early in life in general. They end up having to go on disability. They come down with all kinds of, usually it's like autoimmune issues. It's all heart chakra stuff, autoimmune issues, some sort of, the big C, all like just it takes so much out of them. And those people who stay the longest, they stay because they really do love people, and they usually got something going on in Capricorn, you guys, just so you know. Those are the ones who just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until there's nothing left. But yeah, it's not a good. It's definitely a mess. It's definitely bad.
Last year, when I was working at a different dispensary, we would get a lot of doctors in from the hospital down the road, and they would send their patients in for gummies and all that stuff. So we had a good relationship with that hospital. And I had a doctor come in. He actually wouldn't tell me he was a doctor. He wouldn't tell me anything. Because I looked him up after. He was an endocrinologist, and he said what we're doing in healthcare is and with the pharmaceuticals, it's absolutely destroying everybody's endocrine system.
Yeah,
you're going to see a lot more diabetes. You're going to see a lot more stuff. He's like, it's absolutely. And he goes, and we know it. They know it, and they don't care because it's about money. And he goes, and it's much thicker and darker than that even. And he freaked me out. He was talking to me as if he wanted to grab me by my collars and just shake me and be like, this is the fucking shit that's happening.
You figure he can't tell anybody. Like he wants to get it out. He wants to tell everybody, and he can't.
Well, these doctors know what's good. Some of them are like, you know what, I'll play ball. I made it this far. I'll 7-8 years of school, and then plus whatever other bullshit they have to do to practice being a doctor. It's just insane. Once you're in it, you're stuck. And like, how do you deal with that?
I think you gotta go in. I have actually a handful of doctors in my giant Catholic family. We have statistically, we're going to have at least 20 doctors. Right. But like my cousin, who's a little bit young, maybe a couple years younger than me, he went in knowing full well he was going to go get his degree, become a doctor, and then go completely holistic. He did his residency. He worked in basically did the bullshit that you have to do in order to get your practice and everything set up. But once he did, he went into it knowing that he wasn't going to get sucked into that system, and he was going to try to fight it, which I'm assuming he's doing. So he's very successful at it and stuff. But
I don't know. And I've never seen a holistic practitioner be covered by insurance. That's another scam, like insurance.
Some of them do. Some of them do.
Just some of them, because maybe it's just my area.
It depends. Yeah, there's definitely differences across states and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. You get me talking about insurance. That's like legal extortion. I'm just not down for that. I mean, I think we should have the option of whether or not we want.
Listen, as I grew up in the United States, obviously, but I've lived here for 10 years. And I have seen how possible it is for there to be some sort of universal healthcare. Now, I know that makes a lot of people very uncomfortable. I'm not saying you need a full socialized system or whatever, but here we have, you can go to a private doctor and you can get in same day. You can go get surgeries in a couple of days. You can do whatever you need. You just got to pay for it. It's really not that expensive. Maybe $20 or something. If you want a lot of procedures done, it might cost you a little bit more. You want some big giant surgery, maybe $100 or $200. Now, granted, they don't make as much money over here, but the point is, it's definitely medicine. They have the same medicines and stuff over here, the same pharmaceuticals. Why don't they cost the same price? It's because it's all the whole thing's. The system, the United States system in particular, is definitely broken.
Well, it goes against their oath. They take this oath, these doctors do, to help people. And in the United States where I was working, I was told that if somebody couldn't pay that day, they weren't going to be seen. The doctor would refuse to see them because they couldn't pay.
Same day?
The same day. And I worked in surgery and urology. And so I would have people coming back from having major surgeries who are like, well, I don't have any money to pay anything, to put anything down today. And I'd have to go ask the doctor if he's willing to see them or not, And I had one surgeon who was always willing to see them no matter what. He's like, you never ask me, I will see them no matter what.
Oh, that's awesome.
And one out of all of them in there.
Hey, at least there's one.
At least there's one. And I just thought, how rotten how rotten are you that you're refusing to see people because, well, we're a business and we I get it. You're a business.
Yeah, it is a business, but it does. But that's the thing. Like, again, the United States is the richest country on earth. There's absolutely no reason that every single human being in America, like, of all the dumb shit, they're making UFOs, you guys. Okay.
Dude, I know they don't even talk about it anymore. It's not even in the news anymore. Yeah. They're like, oh, we distracted you enough. So now we
they're 30 trillion now in debt. Like, where'd that fucking money go? It sure didn't go helping the American people. Like, what did you guys spend this on? You know?
Exactly.
Like, there should be not a single homeless person, not a single person that's bankrupt because of like medical bills. That should never happen. So, like, it's totally possible. There should not be a single person going hungry. I mean, like, again, this is a giant conversation, but the whole system is completely fucked. It's completely destroyed. And hopefully that'll change at some point.
Well, I think there is stars, so that's definitely lining
It's possible. It's possible. There is that
kind of change. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we see a lot of creative destruction or sacrifice. I mean,
which one?
In Pisces.
I don't get the bad stuff, you guys. I don't see it. I don't see any of it.
Well, you got to have some bad in order for good things to happen, though. I mean,
and that's what we were talking about.
How do you know the difference between good and bad?
People don't usually make changes until they get uncomfortable. And same thing, like people at a miserable job. They're like, I hate this job, but I've been doing it for 40 years. Like, you're not going to leave until it gets bad enough to where you're like, okay, I'm willing to go and do anything else, be homeless, or that. I had to hit that point before I finally was like done with psychic readings. I was making lots of money doing psychic readings, you guys, and I hated it. Okay. So, but I had to get to that point. Like, no, I hate this so bad. It's destroying my life. Like, I'm not going to do it ever again. I'm only going to do astrology. And that's a really terrifying thing. Like, that's so scary to be like, just like getting a divorce or, having to, leave a job that you worked at for 20 years. Like, it's a really scary thing, but you have to face that, and you have to get to a point where you're like, I'm going to make this change now, or putting down the crack pipe or whatever you got to do. Right.
Yeah. Or the change happens for you and you're forced,
Yeah. You don't want it to force you. You want to make the decision on your own because it's easier if you just do it yourself.
Just do it. Just change it. And when you get that hit, that intuitive hit to change, you should trust me.
Yeah.
As an experienced human.
I'm on board with that. All right, Niki, we got a call. We got to jump on. Let's go do that. All right, you guys. Thanks for sticking it out with us. We had fun with you today. Thanks, mermaids, wear hats, Timon back. Who else? Friar Pezzle. We saw Look Up Astrology. I think Pixie Dust. Everybody, thank you so much. We'll be back next week, same day, same